Namaste, everyone. And today is our 21st session of the Manav Vyavhar Darshan reading sessions. And today, Dev Chauhan Bhaiya from Delhi. He is going to be doing the chapter number 7. So it's the first time I am going to be listening to you, Dev Bhaiya, and I really welcome to you to the gang. And please introduce yourself, and then maybe I can share the screen here for you to start reading. Yeah, welcome.
Sure, Vyas. Thank you very much for setting the context. So, as Rakesh Bhaiya sent a message as well earlier, I'm Dev. I come from a place called Bhiwani in Haryana, and I've been living in Delhi for approximately 16 and a half, 17 years, with my wife and two daughters. They are aged 11 and 2 now. Parents live in Bhiwani. We kind of keep visiting them. They keep visiting us. Work-wise, I'm currently working in a corporate sector with a company called Amazon. Uh, I normally wear its t-shirts all the time. Yeah, and also got introduced to Jeevan Vidya a few years back while I was looking for something in regards to my child's education. Uh, I don't send my daughter. Younger one is of course not in age to be sent to school, but I don't send my daughter to school. The elder one as well. And that's where I got introduced to Jeevan Vidya, and since then I think it's been a fantastic journey, uh, like ups and downs in terms of effort, but then continuity has been there to a certain extent. And now I'm trying to understand the darshan, of course, see life and lives around in the reflection of the darshan. That's about me.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. So, should I move on with the chapter or
Yes, I just shared you on the screen, and you
right?
could actually, uh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, once again, greetings, all fellow humans, all my learned brothers and sisters. Um, Today, I'm going to read chapter 7 of Manav Vyavhar Darshan, Humane Behavior. And I really thank you all for this opportunity and for making me nervous. I am certainly nervous. So,
So you are among friends, so this will be hard to be nervous. I mean, you're all among. So we are actually reading this together, and it's part of the learning. Though we have written it, but what we are doing is that we're not claiming the authority of having understood it. This is our joint effort of trying to understand. So let's not worry about the presentation or anything. Just be very comfortable. You are among friends, and we are reading it together to make sense of the things. Yeah,
right. Thank you, Bhaiya, for kind words. And thank you very much, Rakesh Bhaiya, once again for this translation. I think it is quite an experience to read through it. So, as I move forward in the chapter, I'll read a small part of the chapter in English, of course, in one time, and then I'll share the same thing in my own words. And these words are pretty much uh, written in as smaller notes with me. I tried preparing, few things, and that's how I will treat through or go through the chapter. All right.
sure.
Okay. So, chapter 7, Humane Behavior. Behavior is differentiated by worldly and spiritual. Uh, so, I think the first line, as per my understanding, it is that people act differently based on whether they are focused on material things and everyday life, which is worldly, or on inner peace, connection to something larger than then ourselves or themselves, and spiritual growth. We will define these specific words as well as we move forward in this chapter. Next is worldly behavior. The work and behavior of deluded humans remain trapped in the four instincts. The tendency in deluded work and behavior itself is worldly attachment. The instincts quad: eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So the deluded humans, or the people who are confused about life's true meaning, they tend to focus on their basic needs and desires, and these actions are mainly driven by four instincts that are hunger, that is need for nourishment to survive, sleep, which is essentially rest and recovery process of the body, safety or defending is pretty much protecting self from any harm, and mating, which is the instinct for reproduction and continuation of the species. So this kind of behavior is basically all about the materialistic, the things in this world, and wanting to hold on to them, which is called worldly attachment. And as we look around, as we know, these are fundamental to all living beings, including humans. Moving forward, in awakened humans, behavior manifests as the desired trio. This signifies participating in earthly systems, living with the realization based method, remaining enlightened, and continually sharing that illumination with others. The desired trio: progeny desire, wealth desire.
Yeah, is it possible for you to read the screen because a little changes have been made since what you
Okay, okay,
huh?
okay.
So,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
All right. In awakened humans, behavior manifests as the desired trio. This signifies participating in earthly systems, living with the realization based method, remaining enlightened, and manifesting it. The desired trio: progeny desire, wealth desire, reputation desire. So I'll try to mention or say this in my words. So when we move on to distinct humans from other biologically human like creatures, basically that is animals, um, we discuss awakened humans who have a deeper understanding of life and act based on three main desires that are participating in the world, basically engaging in everyday life and its systems, living with wisdom, that is using the understanding to guide their actions, and sharing knowledge, which is basically helping others as well to understand and awaken. So essentially speaking, awakened people kind of balance their role in the world with their spiritual growth and a desire to help others. And moving ahead, same uh, paragraph, the desire trio refers to three common human desires: a progeny desire, that is a desire, or rather the desire to have offspring and uh, continue one's lineage or species. Next is wealth desire, which is the desire for financial security and abundance, mainly to take care of the bodies by food, shelter, and clothing. Reputation desire, the desire for a good image or standing, respect, and acceptance in the society. And these desires are often present in people, even those who are spiritually awakened. However, the way awakened individuals approach these desires differs from those who are not awakened. Um, Moving on, spiritual behavior, living with realization based evidence. So again, a spiritual behavior involves living a life based on the understanding or wisdom or realization one has gained. It's about acting in accordance with the truths discovered through inner exploration and experience. So, essentially speaking, it is aligning one's actions with one's spiritual insights or understanding. Okay, moving on. Okay, what one believes is their goal, they remain effortful for attaining it. Humane goals are resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence only. So in this line, what's being said is people or we the humans work hard to achieve what we think is important. For humans, the goals are typically a resolution, that is finding solutions to problems, prosperity, that is achieving success, uh, and enough for to live well. Fearlessness, basically overcoming fear. Coexistence, living peacefully in harmony with others. So once again, essentially these are the human goals. I'll move forward. Okay, goal differentiates endeavor, endeavor differentiates progress, progress differentiates consequence, consequence differentiates effect, effect differentiates realization, realization differentiates insightfulness, insightfulness differentiates intrinsic nature, intrinsic nature differentiates reality, reality itself is a tradition of human goals, human goal. Um, so I'll try to decipher this paragraph now. So this passage or paragraph typically explores how each concept leads to or in a way influences the next in a sequence that uh, culminates in the idea of reality being shaped by human goals. Uh, as described, goals guide our efforts, efforts lead to progress, progress brings about results, results cause effects, effects lead to realizations, realizations give us insights, insights reveal our true nature, true nature helps us understand reality. Reality, in turn, is shaped by our goals and traditions as humans. Uh, to summarize, this passage describes a, a kind of a chain of cause and effect, beginning with goal, beginning with goals, and ending with the idea that our reality is influenced by these interrelated, interconnected steps. Further, we will try to define these, specific and very important and relevant terms. Okay, goal. That which is to be achieved is the goal. Human goals are ascertained only through awakening as evidence of resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. So here, the word goal is being defined as something we the humans aim to achieve. For humans, uh, these goals become clear only only when we reach a state of awakening or high-end awareness. And this awakening is shown through specific signs uh, that are determination or resolution, success and well-being, which is prosperity, courage and confidence, which is fearlessness, and living harmoniously with others, that is coexistence. If I have to summarize this in one line, understanding our true goals, comes from becoming more and more aware and conscious, which is uh, uh, which is reflected in how determined, successful, fearless, and connected we are with others, with other entities. Moving on, endeavor, the actions performed with diligence for accomplishment of the goal are referred to as endeavor. As for my understanding, this sentence means that when we work carefully and consistently to achieve a goal, that effort is called endeavor, or in maybe in simpler words, endeavor refers to the actions that we take with dedication and hard work to reach our goal. I'll move to the next word, progress. Movement towards further qualitative development, different from earlier, is referred to as progress. Movement towards excellence and higher value. So this statement explains that progress is about moving forward towards better quality or improvement, different from what was achieved before. It is about striving for excellence and reaching higher standards or values. In simpler terms, progress means making things better than they were before, aiming for the best possible outcomes. Consequence. Next word is consequence. The point after which the procedure changes is referred to as the consequence. Uh, so the consequence. So consequence is the point at which things change as a result of previous actions or decisions. It is the moment when the outcome of a process leads uh, to a new shift or a new direction. Simply speaking, a consequence can be said as what happens that causes things to move in a different way. Next word is effect. The acceptance towards development or awakening is referred to as effect. So an effect is the result of accepting and um, embracing development or growth, which can also be seen as an awakening. When we accept the growth, when we accept the process of growth or change, the outcome of that acceptance is called the effect. Can you scroll down a little bit? Yeah. So realization, the understanding obtained from natural progression, that is complete acceptance of the inherent effects in the natural progression itself, is realization. The effect which is one's refuge is one's realization. So realization is when we fully accept everything that happens uh, by itself, or happens naturally in life without trying to change it. We gain understanding, and this understanding itself is kind of awakening or realization. And what we find comfort in is also part of this understanding. So essentially speaking, accepting life as it unfolds naturally leads to a deeper understanding of self, and this understanding is our own, of human. This understanding is our own truth. I'll move on here. Okay. Natural progression, the way everything is connected link by link or step by step. Natural progression and realization are in coexistence only. Okay. um, so as we discussed earlier as well, uh, not discussed really, but as we read earlier as well, everything in life is connected like links in a chain, or like steps in a ladder. So understanding this interconnectedness and accepting how things naturally unfold, or the natural progression happens at the same time as gaining wisdom or realization. So basically they go hand in hand. And uh, if I try to put it in maybe more simpler words, it is saying that as we understand how everything is connected, we also start to understand our place in the world. And these two things happen simultaneously, or together. Next is insightfulness, the tendency towards evidencing in the form of enlightenment and contemplation upon realization is referred to as insightfulness. Uh, so insightfulness is the ability to deeply think about something we have realized, and then find evidence or proof to support that understanding. It's like gaining wisdom, thinking deeply about it, and then finding ways to present or to show that our wisdom is correct. So essentially speaking, it is about using our understanding or realization as a starting point to explore deeper, and also to find proof or examples. Okay, next is intrinsic nature. The value of self with insightfulness is referred to as intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature is the true worth or essence of a human when they understand themselves deeply. It is about recognizing our own value based on our inner qualities and not on external factors. Uh, Basically, it is that when we truly know ourselves and our worth, that's our intrinsic nature. Moving on, attachment, believing the mistakes towards decline or delusion to be correct is attachment. This itself is inhumaneness. Wrong evaluation of an activity towards decline itself is an attachment. Okay, so attachment is basically believing that something wrong or harmful is actually correct or right. It's like being stuck in a not so good or a bad situation and thinking it to be okay. So this kind of thinking is certainly not humane or kind to oneself or self. For example, let's say we make a mistake that leads to a negative outcome, but we continue to assume or think that our actions were correct. That's attachment. It's about holding on to a belief even when it is uh, causing harm or giving no solution. Moving on, um, if you can please, yeah. Value, evaluation of essentiality is referred to as value. The value is essentiality. Hence, the meaning as intrinsic nature and dharma of entities in a certain order or plane is their essentiality. Dharma of humans is happiness, and their intrinsic nature is fortitude, courage, generosity, kindness, grace, and compassion, whereas deluded humans believe attachment and temptation to be their dharma, and their nature is servileness, treacherousness, and cruelness. If you can please scroll down a little bit here. Yeah. So value equals to essentiality, equals to usefulness, equals to responsibility and participation. equals to consequence, and result equals to evaluation. um, okay, so value is understanding what is truly important. It is about recognizing the essential nature. So for humans, the true nature or true dharma is happiness, and their core qualities are courage, kindness, compassion, and generosity. And for those who are confused or deluded, uh, they happen to believe their purpose is to chase desires that are, in a way, attachment and temptations, and their true nature is unkind, untrustworthy, and cruel. So basically, it is about the difference between what is truly valuable and fulfilling for humans, and what humans or people mistakenly believe is important. Uh, that is for deluded humans. Moving, sorry, going further on this, value is a broad term that includes uh, several concepts that are interconnected. Essentiality, how important something is; usefulness, how helpful or beneficial something is; responsibility and participation, which is being involved and accountable; consequence and result, the outcome or effect of an action; and evaluation, that is judging the worth or importance, is evaluation. So again, to summarize this statement basically suggests that everything valuable is essential, useful, involves responsibility, leads to consequences, and requires evaluation. I'll move on. Okay. In humans, goal is differentiated as worldly and spiritual. Diligence is differentiated as internal and external. Endeavor is differentiated as micro and macro. Progress is differentiated as decline and development. Consequence is differentiated as partial and complete. Effect is differentiated as generative, degenerative, and mediative. Realization is differentiated as sensory and parasensory. Manifestation is differentiated as natural and unnatural. Tendency and attachment are differentiated as lawful and unlawful. And value is differentiated as high and low. Jivan itself is the bearer and carrier of the goal. Okay, so it is a little lengthy one. So, so the various aspects of human life uh, can be put or can be categorized into pairs of opposites, or different levels. Goals can be focused on worldly things like wealth, fame, or spiritual growth. Diligence can be internal, like focus, mindset, or external, that is actions and efforts. Endeavor can be small scale, for example personal goals, or large scale, societal impact. Progress can be forward moving, that is developmental, or backward moving, uh, or declination. Consequences can be limited, that is partial, or widespread, that is complete. Effects can um, create something new, that is generative, destroy something degenerative, or maintain a balance, that is mediative. Realization can be based on physical senses or on inner understanding, that is parasensory. Moving on, manifestation can be natural, basically occurring without any kind of interference, or unnatural, that could be forced or artificial. Tendency and attachment can be positive or lawful, or negative, that is unlawful. And value can be high or important, or low, that is less important. uh, and the as the last sentence suggests, the central idea is that life or jivan is the driving force behind all these different aspects. It carries and influences these elements. To if I try to summarize this whole thing in one line, it's this passage is basically providing a framework for understanding human experience as a complex, um, of course till the time we understand, as a complex interplay play of various forces and categories. I'll move to the next para. The goal that is result based is called worldly, and free from that is called spiritual. The activity of man, vritti, chit, and buddhi is called internal, and the activity of sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell senses is called external. Unitariness is called entity, and wholeness is called entirety. Movement towards degradation is called decline. Movement towards advancement is called development. The achievement that satisfies the intent is called complete consequence. Otherwise, it is called partial consequence. Creation effect is called generative. A sustainment effect is called mediative. And dissolution effect is called degenerative. The knowledge that is obtained through interactions of sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell senses is called sensory realization, while knowledge obtained from man, vritti, chit, and buddhi is called parasensory realization. The inspiration towards reality is called natural insightfulness, and its opposite is called unnatural insightfulness. The dedication towards justice, dharma, and truth is called lawful acceptance, and its opposite is called unlawful attachment. Resolved outlook is called higher value, and tendency to tendency for problems is called lower value. Okay, so I have probably a bit of creativity, but I have split this paragraph into four parts, and then uh, each of these has subparts. The four parts would be goals and actions, entities and processes, knowledge and perception, and values and attitude. First one, goals and actions. Worldly goal is aiming for material rewards or outcomes. Spiritual goal is seeking inner peace, enlightenment, or connection to something greater. Internal actions, mental processes, thoughts, and feelings. External actions, physical actions involving the five senses. Next part is entities and processes. Entity is a single distinct thing. Entirety is the whole, the complete picture. Decline is moving backward or degrading. Development is growing, improving, or progressing. Complete consequence is achieving the desired outcome. Partial consequence, not fully achieving the intended outcome or result. Next is generative, creating something new. Mediative, maintaining a balance or status quo. Degenerative is breaking down or deteriorating. Next set would be knowledge and perception. Uh, First one is sensory realization. That is, uh, the understanding gained through the five senses. Parasensory realization, knowledge obtained through inner experience or intuition. Natural insightfulness, that is understanding reality as it is. Unnatural insightfulness is misunderstanding or distorted perception. And the last set would be values and attitudes. Uh, First one is lawful acceptance, which is upholding justice, morality, and truth. Next is unlawful attachment, which is clinging to something harmful or unjust things. Higher value, focus on positive outcomes and solutions. Lower value is concentrating or focusing on problems and negativity. This was a long one. If I try to summarize this, I think this whole paragraph outlines a framework for understanding the world and human experience. It categorizes various concepts into pairs of opposites or different levels to provide pretty much a structured perspective. Okay, I'll move on. Is it going to be like a monologue? Yeah.
No, actually, it's really up to you how and when you would like to open for Q&A. But I think we are all of us are quite enjoying the flow
Okay.
in which you are going through. So assume that all of us are fully with you, and we
Okay.
will have the Q&A at the end. So I know that it is kind of difficult to read in front of the screen and not have anybody speaking in. But really up to you. If you like to have the discussion as you speak, we can actually do it that way.
Uh, if you feel like interrupting to say something, please do so. Yeah, in case you want to maybe explain it a little better, or you have better words to put there in that particular context. uh,
Sure, Bhaiya. In case there is anything, I'll surely pitch
yeah.
in.
All right, thank you. Moving on. Affirmation of truth in the form of coexistence through the way of study is referred to as reflection in man in the form of acceptance. Deliberation in vritti by way of qualitative analysis. Direct perception in chit, and enlightenment in buddhi. Uh, as per my understanding, this paragraph is talking about different steps to understand and uh, accept the truth. A reflection in man, this means thinking deeply about something and accepting it as true. Then deliberation, this means carefully examining something to understand its qualities and accept it as true. Then comes direct perception. This means understanding something immediately and intuitively without needing to think about it. Enlightenment means having a clear and complete understanding of something. So, in a sense, basically, the paragraph suggests that understanding and accepting the truth can be achieved through different processes from deep thought to intuitive understanding.
Yeah, maybe I could basically add something over
Jivi.
here. So one thing that is clear is that the entity that understands is Jivan, which is distinct from body, right? So, and Jivan has five levels that we talk about: Man, Vritti, Chit, Buddhi, and Atma. And that basically are these are successively levels of successive subtleness. Like Vritti is more subtle than Man, Chit is more subtle than Vritti, and Buddhi is more subtle than uh, Chit, and finally, Atma is the most subtle in Jivan. So when we act, so the Man is the one that basically interacts with the senses. It goes through the perception. So we have the first level of understanding is the perception that happens in one. And thereafter comes the second level of understanding that is more subtle. It's called the deliberation, right? Where you actually are uh, putting some logic on top of it. It is not, it is, it is higher than perception. It is having certain evaluation that is done. It is putting some sequence into the things. So that is, and by that you arrive at some conclusions about the reality. Then the third level is when you are actually are able to have an intuitive understanding of the reality. So intuitive understanding of the reality is possible only after your thought has become satisfied, right? That means that at the level of logic, at the level of deliberation, you have analyzed it completely. Only then you have the level of understanding at the level of intuition, that in which we are also calling as direct perception or sakshatkar. So this happens at the level of chit, right? And then finally buddhi. Buddhi is at the thing which basically sees the reality in the complete perspective, in the whole orderliness that it basically tries to. It is the faculty which basically sees the reality in the holistic sense. So finally, the Adhyan is addressing buddhi, right? That to actually have the comprehension of reality in the holistic sense, right? Which culminates and completion of this leads to realization. So realization is like a stamp on top of what has been understood, right? So these are the five levels of understanding. First is at the level of perception, right? Then you have the at the level of you can say deliberation, right, or comprehension. And third is at the level of intuition, and fourth is finally at the level of realization, right? So that is what basically this is what has been tried to explain in some different words over here. Yeah. So over to you here.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. I'll move on. It is observed that ego or lack of understanding is at the root of ignorance, while enlightenment of Atma and enlightenment in the ultimate truth of coexistence in Buddhi is at the root of knowledge. Uh, so I think pretty much the first line pretty much like self is pretty much clear that the ego is or our ego or our sense of self is often the cause of ignorance, that is lack of understanding, and this is because ego can make it difficult to see things clearly and objectively. And on the other hand, enlightenment with an understanding of the ultimate truth uh, of everything being interconnected can lead to knowledge or true understanding. And I think this is because enlightenment helps us see beyond our own perspective and understand the bigger picture. Moving on, reflection is with distinction of exuberance, inspiration, or invigoration. Deliberation is with distinction of balanced or unbalanced. Visualization is with distinction of meaningful or imposition. And enlightenment of the truth is through the realization based method. I'll read the next line as well. The impetus attained through balance or awakening is referred to as exuberance and inspiration, and the impetus attained through imbalance or sensory pleasure is referred to as retrogression. Okay, so I think this paragraph is talking about different uh, steps to understand and experience the truth. Reflection with distinction of exuberance, inspiration, or invigoration. meaning thinking deeply about something and feeling excited, inspired, or energized by. Deliberation with the distinction of balance or unbalance means uh, carefully examining something and deciding if it is well balanced or not. Visualization with this distinction of meaningful or imposition means creating mental like mental images and deciding if they are meaningful or forced. Enlightenment of the truth through the realization based method means achieving a deeper understanding of the truth by experiencing it directly through personal realization. Uh, so so essentially, this paragraph is suggests that understanding the truth can involve different mental processes and experiences, from feeling inspired to carefully analyzing and visualizing. The next line is talking about the balance and imbalance of the effects of balance and imbalance on our motivation and energy. Balance or awakening: when we are balanced, or when we are in harmony with ourselves and the world, we feel exuberant, that is excited, enthusiastic, and inspired, that is motivated to do you know great things. And then imbalance or sensory pleasure is when we are unbalanced, uh, which is more focused on setting satisfying our senses and desires. uh, we tend to experience a retrogression, or we tend to move backward, or towards declination. So I think essentially a balanced approach to life leads to positive energy and motivation, while an imbalanced approach can lead to uh, decline and stagnation. Okay, next is the deliberation with perspective of justice, injustice, dharma and adharma, truth, untruth is referred to as balanced vritti, and the deliberation with perspective of pleasant, unpleasant, healthy, unhealthy, and profit loss is referred to as unbalanced vritti. So again, this line is talking about two different ways to think about things. Balanced vritti is uh, thinking about things from a perspective of fairness, righteousness, and truth. Unbalanced is thinking about things from a perspective of pleasure, uh, physical health, and personal gain. So again, it is in a way suggesting that a balanced way of thinking is focused on higher values like justice and truth, and unbalanced way of thinking is focusing on uh, the personal desires and benefits. Can we move on? Can we scroll down? Yeah.
This is the one that you are reading, right?
I just read this one. Yeah.
Uh, no, you read this one.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the one you need to read.
Right. Okay. Yes. Uh, sorry. एक ही और different नजर आ रहा था. Right. The visualization with perspective of justice, injustice, dharma, dharma, truth, untruth is referred to as real, and the visualization with perspective of pleasant, unpleasant, unhealthy, unhealthy, and profit loss is referred to as unreal or imposition. Um, uh, so I think this paragraph is talking about two different uh, ways to visualize or imagine things. One is real visualization, meaning imagining things from a perspective of fairness, righteousness, and truth. And second one is unreal or imposition visualization, meaning imagining things from a perspective of pleasure, health, and personal gain. Pretty much the same as mentioned earlier. The line suggests that a real visualization is based on higher values like justice and truth, and the unreal visualization is based on uh, personal desires and benefits. Okay. The understanding acquired with self as witness is the enlightenment of truth, whereas imposed belief is delusion, which is untruth. Buddhi without enlightenment of Atma is referred to as ego, and deluded imposed visualization is referred to as conceit. The way there is no existence of untruth, similarly, there is no existence of ego also. Um, so okay, so this para or this passage is basically talking about um, different ways of understanding the world, understanding with self or Atma as witness, meaning understanding things objectively without personal bias, and this leading to enlightenment of truth. Im- and then a next one would be imposed belief, meaning believing something which is without evidence or understanding, and this can be referred as delusion and is not true. Buddhi without enlightenment of Atma, meaning our intellect without understanding our true self. This is ego, which can lead to delusions. And the next one would be the deluded or imposed visualization. Mean, sorry, someone wants to say something. Okay. So, deluded or imposed visualization, meaning imagining things based on delusions, which is conceit. Um, Again, this passage also mentions that untruth and ego do not really exist. They are illusions created by our deluded minds. I'll read the next.
Right. So basically, buddhi is the place where you are dealing with what exists. And prior to buddhi, till chit, it is uh, you can have both delusion and the reality, right? So buddhi is operating out of buddhi is the goal, is that when you actually are operating with understanding. And prior to that, we are actually operating out of beliefs. Buddhi is the state of knowing, right? So that is the basically is the point where you have a level of intuitive understanding of reality, that you have the that is not just a logical understanding but the intuitive understanding of reality, and which is actually of the way the reality is. So here it is referring to that ego, uh, or the wrong image of yourself does not have an existence as such, right? Because you don't find a reality called ego. Ego is the only incorrect evaluation or an imposition of oneself. So just wanted to add that.
Jivya, thank you. Okay, the next line, the impetus towards duty is referred to as exuberance and inspiration, and mental endeavor and bodily activity out of helplessness is referred to as retrogression. Invigoration is towards excellence, retrogression is towards inferiority. Um, so this passage is actually, I think, talking about motivation and action, impetus towards duty or uh, exuberance and inspiration, meaning feeling motivated to do our duty with excitement and enthusiasm. mental endeavor and bodily activity out of helplessness, that is retrogression, meaning doing things reluctantly or because we feel we have to rather than because we want to. Invigoration towards excellence, meaning feeling energized and focused, leading to high quality outcome. A retrogression towards inferiority, this means uh, feeling demotivated and unfocused, leading to uh, low quality or poor quality result. If I try to summarize this, it suggests that a positive attitude towards uh, duty leads to motivation and high quality outcome, while a negative attitude leads to reluctance and low quality work or outcome. Okay, next line. Absence of problems or realization of resolution is referred to as balance, and problem or the activities that give rise to problem are referred to as retrogression or imbalance. I'll, I think I'll leave another line. Problem is in the mental dimension, and helplessness is in the physical dimension. Okay, so this paragraph actually talks about situations and actions. So absence of problems or a realization of resolution, meaning having no problems or finding solutions to existing ones. This is a state of balance. Problem or activities that give rise to problem, which is retrogression or imbalance, meaning having problems or doing things that can cause problems, and it is a state of retrogression or imbalance. Um, the statement uh, the uh, the statement after this suggests that the problems often originate in our thoughts and minds, while helplessness is often felt physically or emotionally. Uh, I think I can state an example. Let's say we might have a certain mental problem like worry or anxiety, but this can lead to a physical symptom like a you know racing heart or difficulty sleeping. Okay. Next is exhaustive holistic view. That is knowledge of holistic view of coexistence, knowledge of Jivan, and knowledge of humane conduct itself is referred to as the real knowledge, else it is called imposition. So here we are discussing knowledge. One is exhaustive holistic view, which is called real knowledge, meaning having a complete and a comprehensive understanding of everything being interconnected, including uh, life or jivan and human behavior. Whereas imposition is believing something without evidence or understanding. In other words, the true knowledge is based on a deep understanding of interconnectedness of everything, while imposed knowledge is based on beliefs without evidence. Next line. The understanding of realization in coexistence, along with recognition of the unchanging omnipotence, is referred to as enlightenment of truth, else it is referred to as delusion. Uh, so, so the first part means understanding that everything is connected and that there is a, um, there is a powerful force that is always present and unchanging. which leads to enlightenment or a deeper understanding or deep understanding of the truth. And uh, when in the absence of it, it is delusion. This means again believing something that is not true. So, uh, in summary, understanding that true understanding comes from recognizing the interconnectedness of everything and the existence of a powerful unchanging force. And if we don't understand these things, we may, you know, be living in some kind of a delusion. Next is a strong impetus is that which manifests in the form of action. So again, I think the a strong impetus is a powerful uh, motivation or a drive that leads to action. It's like a strong push that propels us forward to do something. The pressure, speed, and thirst of impetus is determined by desire and regulated by purpose. Um, okay, so the pressure, speed, thirst of impetus, meaning how strong, fast, intense the motivation is. Desire, meaning what we want to achieve. Purpose, the reason why we want to achieve. Basically suggesting that motivation is influenced by what we want and why we want uh, to achieve it to achieve. Yeah, can we go a little bit? Yeah, thank you. The relationships and associations among humans are differentiated as development or awakening, fulfillment of relationship or indulgence. The endeavor of relationships and associations towards awakening is for sociality. The endeavor of relationships and associations towards their fulfillment is for keeping balance in the present while adhering to the duty. The endeavor of relationships and associations towards indulgence is for lust and exploitation, which leads to imbalance and pain of problems. Okay, so it is actually talking about different kinds of relationships and associations amongst people. Uh, it can be development, meaning building relationships that help us grow and become better human beings. Fulfillment of relationships, meaning maintaining healthy and satisfying relationships ensuring uh, while fulfilling the responsibilities. Indulgence, meaning uh, focusing on pleasure and selfish desires in relationships, which can lead to certain problems and pain. So, in a sense, the healthy relationships are focused on growth and balance, and unhealthy relationships are focused on selfishness and pleasures. Next line, the behavior towards awakening is called diligence, towards fulfilling relationships is called duty, and towards indulgence is called helplessness. So the diligence is the behavior which is associated with growth and becoming a better person. Duty is the behavior associated with maintaining uh, healthy and uh, healthy relationships and fulfilling responsibilities. Whereas helplessness is the behavior associated with focusing on pleasures, selfish desires, which can, as we mentioned earlier, lead to problems and pain. Okay. Humans have the feeling of duty and need. Duty or kartavya, the activity of recognizing and fulfilling relationships whereby dedication is realized. I'll cover the next line as well. Responsibility, the activity of recognizing and fulfilling relationships, along with evaluation, whereby satisfaction is realized. So, uh, humans often feel a sense of duty or uh, obligation to do certain things, whether it is to their family, friends, community, or a larger cause. We also have needs, both physical and emotional, that we must fulfill to um, to survive and thrive. Duty is about understanding and fulfilling our responsibilities. It is about being committed to relationships and doing what we need to 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 maintain them. When we fulfill our duty, we show dedication and commitment. Uh, Whereas responsibility is about understanding and fulfilling relationships, while also simultaneously evaluating actions to make sure they are effective. Um, so, so when we fulfill our responsibilities and do a good work, we feel satisfied and accomplished. Next line, the fulfillment. I'll read like 3 4 lines together here. The fulfillment of duties is possible, but fulfillment of needs in the form of indulgence is not possible. The fulfillment of duties is possible because they are definite and finite. The fulfillment of needs towards indulgence or comfort accumulation is not possible because these are indefinite and unlimited. This is the reason that tendency towards duty leads to peace and tendency towards indulgence leads to unrest. All duties are in the purview of relationships and associations only. Okay. Um, while we can fulfill our duties or responsibilities, it is not possible to fulfill our needs through indulgence or excessive pleasure seeking, or in uh, like indulgence often leads to negative consequences and can hinder our restrict our ability to fulfill our duties and responsibilities. Duties generally are specific and have clear boundaries. For example, duty to like a small child might involve providing them with food, shelter, and education. So these are pretty much specific tasks that can be accomplished. This makes it possible to fulfill duties, unlike needs, which are more uh, open-ended and can be difficult to fully satisfy. Needs related to indulgence, such as comfort and accumulation of possessions, are often indefinite and unlimited. Meaning, of course, there is no end or limit to these desires. People or deluded humans can always strive for more comfort or more possessions, and there is no point at which they can be they can feel fully satisfied. So that's how it becomes impossible to fulfill fully you know these needs through indulgence. uh, a tendency towards duty is focusing on fulfilling responsibilities and uh, sorry, give me like 5 seconds. um, okay, so focusing on fulfilling responsibilities and obligations can lead to a sense of peace and sense of satisfaction, because again duties are often specific and achievable, and fulfilling them can provide a sense of purpose and accomplishment. A tendency towards indulgence, focusing on excessive pleasure seeking, material possessions, of course, can lead to unrest and dissatisfaction. Uh, it happens because desires are often indefinite and unlimited, and uh, going behind them, pursuing them, can create a sense of never being enough, or feeling constantly to have more, or wanting more. So I think in conclusion, a focus on duty and responsibility can lead to a more balanced and fulfilling life, while excessive indulgence can lead to dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Last line: duties are typically related to our interactions with others, whereas whether it is a duty to our family, friends, community, or a larger society, all duties involve some form of relationship and association. I'll move to next line. Impetus itself leads to the selection activity, which can be for accumulation, nurturing, extraction, renunciation, or exploitation. All these activities are part of hope. Okay, so again, this paragraph is talking about motivation and its effects. Impetus is a motivation or a drive. uh, then selection activity is choosing to do something. um, Accumulation, nurturing, extraction, renunciation, exploitation, uh, these are basically certain ways to interact with the world. Hope is a belief that things will be better in the coming future. So essentially, the paragraph suggests that the motivation leads uh, to choose certain actions, and these actions are all influenced by our hopes and beliefs about the future. Without the fulfillment of duties, human life is not successful. So again, humans are social, and are certainly, our lives are deeply, uh, we are in existence with others. Our relationships and associations are essential, important for our well-being and fulfillment. And when we neglect our duties to others, we can experience certain negative emotions like feeling of guilt, shame, isolation. Yeah. um, Next line is: the life that is replete with material prosperity and intellectual resolution is indeed a successful life. um, so again, while having material wealth and intellectual abilities can certainly enhance one's quality of life, I think it is important to consider other factors that contribute to a truly um, a life that can be truly called as truly successful, um, which can include strong relationships, uh, purpose and meaning, contribution to society, personal growth, well-being. It includes physical, mental, and emotional health. So again, to summarize, I think while material prosperity and intellectual resolution can be important, a life which can be called as truly successful involves a balance of various factors that contribute to overall happiness and fulfillment. Material prosperity is only in coexistence along with production in excess of needs, and realization in existence itself is absence of delusion and intellectual resolution. So again, material prosperity, having uh, more than enough material possessions, is possible, of course, when we produce more than we need. And realization in existence is understanding the true nature of existence, and is the opposite of delusion, which is false beliefs and intellectual resolution, which is um, I mean, the realization is in existence is understanding the true nature of existence in existence, which is the opposite of delusion or false beliefs. And of course, it is intellectual resolution, or basically having an understanding of solving problems. The evidence regarding absence of delusion is only through coordinated study of wisdom and science and work practice. Uh, as per my understanding, this paragraph, this line suggests that we can only prove something, only prove that something that is not a delusion by studying wisdom, science, and practical work together. So we need to combine knowledge from different fields to understand what is true and what is not. The needs become Yeah, the needs become finite and disciplined in humane living. The needs become maintained, sorry, restrained even further in higher humanely living. So again, needs become finite and disciplined in a in a um, in a good resolved human life. Needs are limited and controlled, and we don't really want too much or too little. Needs became restrained even further. Uh, In awakened human life, needs are limited even more. We are satisfied with less or and focus on more important things. The more one is in fear and delusion, the more one believes in the importance of material objects for becoming happy. For example, the frightened tries to become happy through weapons and refuge. The greedy tries to become happy through accumulation. The malicious tries to become happy through destruction. The ignorant tries to become happy through blaming others, and the arrogant tries to become happy through disdain and hatred, while in reality, one's own receptivity is the cause of one's becoming happy or unhappy. Um, so, so how fear and delusion and negative emotions can really lead people to believe that material things are the key to happiness. uh, there are examples like fearful people. They may try to feel safe by acquiring weapons or seeking refuge. Greedy people may try to feel happy by collecting or accumulating more possessions. Malicious people may try to feel more powerful by hurting others. Ignorant people may end up blaming others for their problems, and arrogant people uh, may feel superior to others by looking down on them. Next line. Yeah, thank you. The environment and study are helpful in making one receptive or unreceptive for awakening. So, our environment and the things that we learn can really influence whether we are open to growth and change. Basically means if we are receptive or resistant to it, or unreceptive. I think an example can be some like a supportive, nurturing environment can make us more open to new ideas and experiences, while a negative or a controlled or restrictive environment can make us more resistant to changes. Okay, last line. Humans become happy only upon becoming adept in humaneness based behavior, production, study, work, and ethics. I think humans can achieve true happiness only when we develop and practice humane behavior, engage in productive activities, pursue knowledge, through study, work diligently, and adhere to certain ethical, naturally formed principles, and all these aspects areas are, as we've been mentioning earlier in the previous pages as well, are interconnected, and progress in one area, one aspect, often leads to progress in others. And that's how I end it. May there be universal well-being. Thank you.
Yeah, this was very nice, Devbhai, and somehow I could actually resonate with your presentation. I personally, in terms of my experience, also has been working in the field like yours, so I could somehow uh, warm up to you in your presentation. Yeah, so I guess many of us who have worked in like engineers have a certain way of looking at things. Uh, yeah, which is in some ways what we find appealing in darshan is its logical completeness. Somewhere it we see that it is making sense. It is adding up everything. And this was something that even Babaji had made an observation that these engineers seems to be getting more attracted towards this thing compared to other professions. So thank you for making this alive. And I think the whole idea of this humane behavior is gives us a picture that out of the whole range of behaviors that a person engages in, there is a thought, and behind the thought, there is an understanding, and behind the understanding, there is realization. So these are the four levels, so to say, that are there behind the behavior of a human being. And as we basically move towards the connectedness of or the essence of our behavior, then we find that we are not actually driven by events, but are moving out of understanding. Yeah. So that is what this chapter is actually giving us the picture, that it is giving us the nuances of various aspects of behavior, but it is also guiding us that there is behind the range of behavior, there is thought. Behind the thought, there is understanding. Behind the understanding, there is realization. Yeah. So I'll just open the floor for any questions that we have for Dev Bhai, or anybody wants to make any observations.
Or if
I just
anybody
want to
wants
say,
to appreciate.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
definitely.
Oh,
No, I wanted to say great job, Devai.
thank
You did very
you.
good.
Thank you.
I know you were nervous. I know the feeling, but you did very good. I enjoyed listening to you, and yeah, great job. It was excellent. And I just wanted to hear from you. How was your experience presenting? Are you feeling good now?
I, I'm feeling good now.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thank
Now
you
that
very
it's
much. Kind words.
completed, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good. So it is going to be so
I'm sorry,
Dev
Vyas,
Bhai is,
there is a
yeah.
raised hand, I guess.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, yes, Shilpa Didi. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I just want to congratulate Dev Bhai. So it was really nice listening to you. I think it flowed very well, and your choice of words and everything was very well put, very apt. So yeah, great job. So I've been with Dev Bhai since the last 2 3 years. We've been attending classes together of Sanjeev Bhaiya, and it's always wonderful to hear your questions. You know the way you observe things, And I think that all reflected in today's presentation. So really good. And these are like very deep concepts, and so it's like you kind of get lost in the words also at times to make sense of what is being said because it's so profane, so deep. So I think you did a great job.
That means a lot. Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I see that you have a lot of support here. Now, a lot of people showed up today. So, all the people who are from Delhi, they all have joined in today. And so that's very nice. So actually, Devbhaiya will be presenting only today. There's only one session that that is planned. So the next one will be done by Achal Bhaiya. Achal Agarwal. He is from Raipur. So he will be doing the next session. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything? Otherwise, we will wrap up today's session. Yeah. Sanjeev Bhaiya, you want to say something?
जी भैया, first of all, देव भाई, congratulations and taking this step of doing a session. I have been after him, for taking this initiative. Somehow he has been avoiding it, but it's good that in this session he has done it, and well done, Dev bhai. Well done. I just wanted you to share with all of us. In the beginning, in your introduction, you mentioned that your elder daughter is not going to school, and you as parents decided to do her homeschooling, which is actually a very bold step. Okay, very few people are able to do it. So just if you could share, I mean, it's just away from the content that we have read today, but then somewhere there is a mental frame which which like this step of yours indicates that whatever is happening in society, there is a certain degree of uh, clarity in your mind that there are a lot of things which are not happening in the right manner, and you are not scared as parents to take bold steps regarding that. So if you could just share your thought process behind that and how it has gone so far.
Uh, so, um, so when I decided this, there were a lot of news coming from different education institutes, especially in Delhi NCR, and plus, in fact, my daughter went to school for 1 year initially before, I think, nursery KG, that class, and from there as well, I happened to hear things that were. I mean, I was not very much okay with those kind of things. For example, just asking kids to just shut their mouth and just sit quietly, 4 5 years old kids, when they should ideally be prompted to speak more or ask more questions and all. So few of these experiences plus whatever I heard from around me, this was a decision taken, but then the problem was I knew what I didn't want to do, but that I was not sure what I want to do, what I wanted to do. That's where, researching through internet, I found out a video of Sombhai, and then we happened to visit Hapur to attend his first shivir, uh, my first shivir taken by him. And that's where a small little realization came in, that whatever is happening in all these schools and colleges, I that pretty much like a cherry on the top and nothing more than that. It can happen, and because the kind of education, the kind of resources that we have, that education is pretty much available everywhere. It can be taken care of. It's really not a rocket science, is also not a rocket science really. So but then the other part, which I heard in that session and the following sessions, those were kind of, I totally understood that it was not available in regular schools, colleges and regular institutes. So that's where the focus was. In today also, when she's 11 and a half now, today also I am pretty confident that all those concepts are easily being taken care of. She herself studies, and there are some tuitions and all those are there, but then she's kind of pretty much bent towards taking good education. But then the more important thing is, the kind of conversations that we have on daily basis. So I make sure that I'm talking to my, even if when she's not here physically, maybe she's gone to her nani's place or somewhere else, I make sure that I'm talking to her every day, at least for 30 minutes. It stretches to sometimes to 2 hours, to 2 to 3 hours as well. And that's where the whole, I think the most important education happens there only. I don't really, uh, uh, you know, tell her. I just share things with her. And we talk. It's a discussion that is happening all the time. And fortunately, she has enrolled in Shalom Didi's classes as well, who comes from Raipur, and then she has enrolled in dance classes taken by Didi in Raipur, again Bharatnatyam classes. Again, those all art forms are influenced by Madhya Darshan only. Uh, so basically linked to all this, and the worldly education is anyway taken care of. It's not really a big deal, and it's been a wonderful experience. In fact, I choose to stay in a company like Amazon, not a very healthy place, but then I choose to stay here because of this option given to me. I work from home, and this is officially I work from home. It's not that I choose to work from home, and this is one reason I choose to stay with Amazon, that this is the option given to me, and so that I can stay with my family as much as possible. And it's been wonderful experience so far. um, yeah, I mean,
Good, good, good.
happy.
All the best wishes.
Thank you very much, Via. Thank you.
Thank you, Dev here. It was nice getting a slice of your life. Yeah. So, so once again, thank you very much for taking this session. Gave us some very good points to think about. We will join again on the coming. Today is what? Today is Saturday. We'll join on Tuesday. Yeah. So, namaste, everyone, and good night. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye bye.
You
Namaste.
namaste.
Namaste. Bye bye.